Yeah, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can knit baby stocking. So far I've made one side of the leg, so I'm going to show you how you can work on another one. So you can pull out 15 needles, and then with your main color, this is gold that I'm using, you cast on all the needles. I'm not putting them in one by one, it's on all the needles that I'm casting on. So you bring all your needles into the working position. 15 needles, that is a total of 30 needles. This stocking can fit a newborn, a few months old. So you can look at that, the leg is so tiny. So this is how it's going to be after we join, but I want to show you something before joining. So in tension 5, you knit one row, take your row counter to 0, 0, 0, knit one row, and then you are going to knit 7 rows. What you're working on is this upper rib here. So you knit 7 rows straight up. Increase one row to tension 10, knit one row, then increase, take back to tension 5 and knit 7 more rows. If you prefer, you can put a picot here for this line, if you prefer to design it that way. I just made it plain. So you join your hem by picking up stitches and feeding them into the needles. And then after that, you knit one row to join up the hem. Take back your row counter to 0, 0, 0, and you need 6 rows. So we are going to do this picot. So we are going to make this picot for the ribbon or nylon cord. So you're going to knit 6 rows. 6. So you skip 5 needles. You first skip the first one. You transfer from the second into the next, and then you count 5 needles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip those 5. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip. Transfer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip. Transfer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you again pull back these needles that you've transferred, and you knit straight. You add on to 12 rows to make it a total of 18 rows. So at this point, when you've knitted your 18 rows, this is from here up to here. So we are going to shape the heel. Now at this point now this is one thing. I've knitted these socks. First it was like this. Then when I shaped the heel, so if you can look at this, my first shaping, the heel was on this side, meaning these needles were in holding position and I was working on this. So since I'm working on another leg, I'm going to put these ones in holding position and I work from this area. I hope you can get that. The right leg and the left leg always come out differently. So on the first part, on the first stocking you're knitting, if you shape the heel from the right, then the second leg you're knitting, you should shape the heel from the left. So this is what I did. My heel was shaped from the right side. Now I'm going to shape it from the left side. So what you do when your carriage is on the left, you pull out needles into holding position, half of the needles of your work, half of them, you pull them into your holding position, and you push your button into holding this button here into the holding position. That is the only thing you're going to do. And since I'm using another color for the heel, I'm going to put this one aside. Mind you, I've not cut it because I'm still using it. So I'm going to pick up my other color. This is off-white, and it's what I'm going to use. So these needles are not going to knit, it's these ones that are going to knit. So you knit one row. Sorry, before that you increase your tension for the heel. I've increased my tension to 7. Before knitting, you increase your tension to 7 so that you shape the heel and it forms that curve. So when you knit that one row and your row counter is on your right, you pull the needle opposite your carriage. Sorry, carriage, not row counter. You pull one needle opposite your carriage and you get this thread which has passed over the needles in holding position, and pass it under and above, under the very first needle and above these other ones remaining, and then you knit and you knit again. So when your carriage has come this side, you just pass it under that needle, that one needle that you've pulled out, and then you go back. So at this point you can get your claw hangers and you hang here so that your work doesn't come off. So this, I've passed this side. Now I'm going to pull out this needle here, and then I get this thread, pass it under and above, then I knit again. So that is the whole process. Now these ones are two, so I'm going to pass it under this first one and over the others, and then knit across. My carriage is on this side, so I'll pull out one needle to the holding position. This one just came along. I'll pull out one needle to the holding position and I pass this thread under and above. Then go on. Now I have 3, so I'll pass it under this very first one and above the others. I go this side. Here I just pull out, here pass under and above. In case I'm so fast, you might have to take your time and capture this if it is your first time to make stockings. So you just rewatch until you get what I'm doing. So it's over and above, over the first one and above the rest, and you pull out this side because my carriage is on the right, so I pull out the needle to the front, then knit over, so here it is under and above this very first one. I just knit across, I pull out here, pass this under and above, and then knit across, under and above this one, knit across, pull this to the front. So you be mindful, because now look at this, my thread has come out, a stitch has jumped out, so you have to really be very careful in case your stitch jumps out so that you can knit it back. Otherwise you might get a heel which has holes in it. So I have to adjust my claw weights and move it above because it had become a little bit loose. So you be really mindful of your stitches here. So I'm going to reduce until I have 8 needles remaining. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I have only 1 to reduce. And how I do that, this one I'd already pushed. How do I know? I have 2 here, and here it is 1. So I'm just going to pass this above, then over and above, under and above. So you knit again this side, and I pull one needle to the front. I take this under and above, then I count here. I have 2, 4, 6, 8 needles remaining, and then I knit across. So I am done doing the increases. Now what I'm going to do is now to push back the needles, push them back here halfway. So I was pulling out, now I want to knit them backwards. I want to push them back into this position. So I just push it back halfway here, and then I continue the under and above this side and knit across. So you can see this one has knitted. So I will continue the under and above. The other time we were pulling, now we are pushing back. So you're going to do that until all the needles are over. Be mindful at this corner because the thread really always comes off and you have to be careful. Oops, it's a bit stuck. So you have to be really careful at this point because they usually jump out. You have to just keep an eye on them. Yes, so I'll continue over and reduce here. I'm not reducing, if you can see, I'm just passing it under, then I knit across. When my carriage is this side, instead of pulling to the front, I just push it back. Then here, do the same, pass under. So I'll continue in the same, reduce here, pass across. Reduce. So now all my increases and reductions are finished. So at this point, I'm going to remove this heel color, and then I pick back my main color, this gold, and I feed it into the carriage. Then I'm going to reduce back to tension 5 and push this needle back into normal and knit across like that. So now I'm done shaping the heel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to knit, so we are done shaping this heel. If you can look at this, this is the part we are done with. Now we are going to knit 15 rows, and then we shape the front, the heel here. We are done shaping this. Now we are going to knit this and shape the toe area. So I'm going to knit 15 rows. I've already knitted 1 row. 2, 3, 4. 15. When you keep your counting well, you would see that now my carriage has ended at this on my right. Remember, in shaping the heel, my carriage was on the left. Now I want to shape my toes. My carriage is on the right, meaning half of my needles are going to be in the holding position. If you do a mistake and your carriage is this side, realize that what you're shaping the heel, the toe where the heel is supposed to be, which would really be funny. I don't know how it will turn out. So you shape it on the opposite side. So your carriage has to end on the opposite of where you shaped your heel from. So still again, I'm going to use white. So I'm going to take this away, put it aside, and I pick my color. The same way I did the heel is the same way we are doing this. You push this into the holding position, but I'm maintaining my tension 5. So I'm just going to knit across, pull this to the front the same way, do the increases, the reductions until you have 8 needles remaining right here. Just keep doing that. Pass over and above, pass over and above, push this, push over and above, this, over, knit across. So now I can hang my comb under. This one I've already pulled it, knit across, under, across, pull, across, over, above, knit across, pull this, go above. So you count 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 1 to go. So just knit this, come back this side, do this, and then pull out 1, go back, adjust my comb, reduce. So now since I'm done and I'm remaining with 8 needles here, so I'm going to reduce now. Knit across, the same procedure. Check my needles if they're still. Okay. Just going to hold it there with my thumb. I don't know if I did a reduction, did I? I don't remember, I was kind of distracted, but just keep doing that and you reduce. When it jumps out, you be careful and you add it back so that you don't have loose thread hanging. It might just pull out all your work and it unravels. So I'll keep with the reductions. Just keep reducing as you pass over and above. Reduce, pass over and above, reduce. So now all my needles are done, so I'll remove this and put back my main color, remove from holding position and knit across with only 1 row. And then you have to make sure that this where you are having a lot of yarn rolled on, it has knitted. Then after that I'll just cut off and leave a long tail, which I'm going to use to join, and then pick up any yarn color, different color, and just knit across with a few rows so that we can remove our work from the machine. So you just knit a few rows with a different color, and then you just pass across. And now this is how your socking is. So what is remaining is just joining it. So joining it up, you see we have this main color, it's what we are going to join, so it will be halfway like this. I hope you can see this very well. So I'm going to be joining this gold color and this gold color here. That would be 15 of the needles, and then knit 1 row and cast off, So just pick up this stitch and this last stitch here, and join them onto the machine. I hope you can see that. Though they are so a bit dull, but I hope you can see it with your colors that you've made. Just pick up the main color, the very last color that you knitted with, except for the waist yarn you're removing. You join it back onto the machine. You pick up all the stitches, both sides, then you join them back onto the machine. You knit one row, and then you cast off. Or the best way you can also do is to first join one half until you reach your 50 needles, because remember we cast on 15 this side, 15 the other side, so meaning I would have to reach the needle point 0 from this side, or I start from 0 and cast on back to 15 needles. So mine is right about here, so I'll push back this because I don't need them anymore. Now there is a stitch here that you have to look out for at this corner because it's a bit tight. If you don't get it, you may miss it and you have a hole in your socking, so you just have to look out for it. And then you feed it in there for joining. And the next one, and the next one. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know why, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Like this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And share it with your friends. If you are a beginner, you just need to know the buttons. This is the holding position, what it does, and how I did it. So that's the only complication around it, but it's not a hard tutorial like some of my students usually tell me. So after that, I just knit one row and cast off. So it's just easy to make. Cast off loosely so that the socking is not tight. So after that, I just cut off this, because make a knot and you cut it out. Then I'll remove this waist yarn that I added on, and what is remaining is just this is the yarn we are going to use to join, so I'm just going to join out these tails and cut them off, and then after we are good to join our socking. So for the picot area with the holes that we did at the beginning, you can make a nylon cord, an I-cord, a string. I have a tutorial for how to make a string or I-cord, idiot cord, whichever way you call it, and you fix it in there. Just a little string that you can fix in. So it's what I'm basically going to do, and then so using your yarn needle, string is a bit long. just going to join up my socking right from the toe area, and I'll be joining it with the blind stitch. You pick up 2 stitches both ends, so I'll join up to here and then also up to here. It's a way of you just join with your hands. I've not done it on a sewing machine, so I think better you join the seam with your hands so that it really comes out nice. Just picking up the last stitch on the edge and also this edge. Pick up stitches this edge and also this edge. Well, it's called a blind stitch because if you look at where I came from, you can't tell that there is a seam right there. So that's why I prefer using this method. But whichever method you use for stitching up your work, you can use that very one, and you join up your socking. So go on ahead and finish this up. You also join the hemming we began with, and then after you can knit your nylon cord, or you can get a tiny ribbon that you can fix in for the baby to tie, or any string that you can have, whatever you choose to add in, so that you can tie up you can easily tie up the baby's stocking around their leg. Yeah. You turn, and then you also work on the inside part of that stocking. So that is how you can make your baby stocking. Now right here, you just hide your tails into the hem so that it doesn't show, and you cut it out. And that is how your stocking is. So I'm just going to knit a nylon cord. This is how cute your baby stocking is. I already have these gray ones, you can see, so you just pass the string around. These ones I did with a picot. You can see what I was telling you, the picot hemming. These ones have a pickle hanging and these ones are just plain. So you can choose to add a pickle or you can just choose to have it plain the way I did this. You can see the difference. So you just make your eye coat and then you add it into the this holes here for the pickle that we did. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.